Om. 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 Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Samast Jan Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Gratitam Purana Mudina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshini Bhagavati Ashtadashadhyayani Amba Tvamanusandadami Bhagavad Gita Bhavatveshini Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyaistavai Vedai Sangapadakramopaniषदैः Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavasthita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yoginaha Yasyantam na vidutsura suraganaha Devaya tasmai namaha Devaya Om Shri Ganeshaya namaha Om Shri Saraswatye namaha Om Shri Gurubhyo namaha. Hari Om. So in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan Sri Krishna starts with the highest knowledge. When Arjuna is confused about his duty and he feels that there will be a lot of death and destruction, a lot of people will die on both sides. Bhagavan first of all starts at the highest knowledge of the Upanishads, because the Bhagavad Gita is the essence of the Upanishads, and it says that none of us are this body. We are all that Atma, that consciousness, that Om, that Supreme Self. And this body, mind, and intellect are my equipment. So if you identify with the body, that I am the body, then obviously you will be worried about what is happening to the body. If I identify with the mind, I'm stressed, or intellect, I'm confused. So the more you identify with the body, mind, and intellect, the further you go away from the true nature, because all of us really are this Atma, the self, where this equipment I am using as I use a car to move around, or as I use a house to live in. So same way, this body is where I live and where I move around. But actually, I am not the body, mind, intellect. I am that Atma, the self, the consciousness. And anything happening to the BMI is not happening to me. I think that one has to apply, especially when there are joys and sorrows, problems arise. One way is, of course, to try and fix the problem, but better that, of course, we should do. But some problems cannot be fixed. And even if the problem can be fixed, one should look like my car is broken, I take it for repair. So I take my body to the doctor to have it fixed. And the more you distance yourself from this body, mind, and intellect, the more you center on God's presence within, you come closer to the divinity that is who I really am. And that is what the essence of the teaching is. And in meditation, those of you who meditate regularly, we do connect with the inner divinity, with the inner God's presence. And that is what Bhagavan teaches in the beginning. And tells him that this body will perish, but you will never perish. And this body is like clothes, just as vasamsi jirnani yatha. Just as we give up old clothes, same way we give up this body when it is no longer useful, and then the individual may take a new body. But ultimately, one who identifies with the self and becomes one with God's presence, that person is a Mahatma, is a saint. And the purpose of studying Bhagavad Gita and meditating and doing all these prayers and sadhana is to become one with God that is within. And ultimately, the final experience of oneness with God, oneness with Brahman, is what all these Mahatmas, Swami Chinmayananda, Swami Shankaracharya ji, all these great Mahatmas experienced that, Buddha, Mahavir. And that is what the teaching of the second chapter starts with that. But then people say, yeah, that is okay, but I find it very difficult to abide in this knowledge. And can you tell us at our level? See, Bhagavan Sri Krishna first tells at the highest level, but then people say, but I see people dying all the time and I see all these problems happening. So can you come down to our level? And we'll see that from verse 11 to verse 30, which we are doing today, the first one, it's all the teaching of the Upanishads and our meditative verses. Then from 31 onward, we will come to our level, you and my, where we live at. So let's do number 30, which is the last of these meditative verses. Chapter 2, number 30. Dehi nityamavadyoyam. Dehe sarvasya bharata. Tasmat sarvani bhutani. Natvam shochitum arhasi. Together. Dehi nityamavadyoyam. Dehe sarvasya bharata. Tasmat sarvani bhutani. Natvam shochitum arhasi. So Dehi means the indweller. Deha means the body. Dehi means the indweller in the body. So indweller is Atma or the consciousness. Even though Atma or consciousness is all over, present everywhere, but it manifests in this everyone's body. Actually, every cell of our body is permeated by that Atma. But for meditation, they say it is in the middle of the chest, where the spiritual heart is, where the spiritual heart. So there is the Atma present everywhere, but you can connect just as the US government is all over from New York to Los Angeles. But if you want to contact the US government, you go to Washington, DC. To contact California, you go to Sacramento. So same way to contact Bhagwan, best place is to meditate on the middle of the heart. So Dehi, so this indweller of the body, Nityam Avadhyo, I am, this means this, I am this Dehi, this consciousness. Nityam Avadhya, Nityam means always, Avadhya means indestructible, cannot be destroyed. So this Atma, the consciousness, God, will never perish. Body, mind, intellect will perish, but I as the Atma am eternal. That is the teaching of the second chapter. So I am Atma Nityam Avadhya. It is ever indestructible. Dehe Sarvasya Bharata. And in all bodies, Sarvasya, all bodies, not only human, but animal, birds, plants, fish, in all living beings, this Atma is always present. It is there in the inanimate also, in stones, rocks, and all, but there it does not express as life, only as existence. But in living beings, it expresses as consciousness. So, O Bharata, O Arjuna, Bharata means one who is always interested in knowledge, Bharata, who revels in knowledge. O Arjuna, you are the one interested in knowledge, so I'm teaching you this. Tasmat, therefore, sarvani bhutani, in all beings, natvam shochitum arhasi. Natvam, you should, shochitum means you should not mourn. Arhasi means it is not worthy of you to be constantly mourning. Yes, bodies will perish, and when somebody dies, we do miss them for a while. But to keep on mourning about it and then, oh, my life is finished and keep on going, then you will be as good as dead. So they say, yes, you feel sorrow or you feel miss somebody, but ultimately you put that in the back of your memory, but you move on with life. So do not, and you should not mourn for beings, because people, bodies will perish, but the Atma, consciousness, will not perish. So just as I am eternal, all beings are eternal, whether it's plants, animals, birds, fish, everyone is eternal. That eternal consciousness is in everyone, the same. It is equally in plant, equally in animal, bird, fish, human, but it manifests at a different level. A plant has minimal consciousness, minimal life, a minimal expression of, even though it has life, but minimal expression. Then it is little more in a fish. In a bird, they are more evolved. They have a better intellect. Animals are closest to humans, whether it's, dolphins or dogs, monkeys. We see that they have a lot of human qualities. And then the highest expression of this consciousness is in human beings. So do not mourn for anybody, because everybody, the body will perish, but the Atma will never perish. So in reality, nobody dies. That is the idea. And people always have this doubt, am I the Atma or am I the body? And it seems very difficult to get out of this body identification. I am the body, I am the body. So there is a story of Ramakrishna Paramhans. He used to be, was a great devotee of Mother Kali, Mother Goddess. And when he would go into the temple, he would just go into the trance and forget who he was and would be just doing prayers. And instead of offering prasad to the mother, he would eat it himself. Instead of offering garland to the mother, he would put garland on himself, because he saw no difference between himself and Mother Goddess. And anytime he heard anywhere the name of mother or some bhajans, he would go into trance. He would go into samadhi. So one time he was walking from somewhere, coming towards his ashram, towards his temple. And on the way, he just passed outside a house, and there was this lady, beautifully, she was singing Kali bhajans, beautifully voice. And Ramakrishna Paramhans heard, and he was gone. He was in that trance, he was in that samadhi. But he kept on walking, but he didn't know, but he kept walking towards his ashram. And it so happened that, he only used to wear a dhoti. He didn't wear any other clothes, no shirt, just a dhoti. And somehow that dhoti slipped and fell off. And he kept on walking. He had no idea, that his dhoti is gone. And he reaches his temple, his ashram, and the disciples look at him and they quickly, ask, Mahatma ji, where is your dhoti? And they find a dhoti and tie it. He says, where is your dhoti? He says, you are asking me, where is my dhoti? I'm asking you, where is my body? I don't even know I have a body. Forget about dhoti. So that's what these Mahatmas are able to remove the body identification and identify with the true self. And that is what they're saying, that in reality does not mean that you have to walk around without clothes, but reduce the idea that I am the body. How do I do that? So they say it's very difficult. So some Mahatmas gave a very practical example. Stop spending too much time on body, on nourishing the body, buying too many clothes, too many things unnecessarily. If you have enough, then spend less time on the body and more time on Atma, more time on knowing the self. And so practically, for example, food is one of the things, that nourishes the body. And we have very strong attachments to food. So reduce that. Say, so one day if I have overeaten, the next meal I will not eat. Or pick a day to fast. Every day, one day I will fast, eat only one meal. Or if you want to go even further, there's something I really like to eat. Decide, okay, I won't eat this for 1 month or 1 year or whatever time. So that way you develop some sadhana, some idea that I do not need to spend taking care of the body. Don't buy unnecessarily clothes, unnecessarily jewelry, and things that I don't need. And the time you spend in all these things, spend that time in sadhana. The money that you spend in buying things, use that to help somebody or to serve society. So that is how you reduce the body identification. Or, people who are extremely attached, things like smoking, drinking, overeating. So those things one should give up. And that is how you reduce your body identification. So controlling unnecessarily wastage of time or effort in taking care of the body. Of course, we have to maintain the body. Bhagavan said already, Sharir Yatra Pichate na prasiddhyeta karmana. You have to do karmas to maintain your body. But beyond that, restrict the time we spend in I, me, and myself, and spend more time in we and taking care of others. So that is shloka number 30. That's where Bhagavan ends the highest teaching. Now he will bring it to our level, where what I should do as my dharma, as my duty. That is shloka number 31. Swadharmamapi chavekshya na vikampitum arhasi dharmyadi yuddha shreyonyat kshatriyasya na vidyate. Together, swadharmamapi chavekshya na vikampitum arhasi dharmyadi yuddha shreyonyat kshatriyasya na vidyate. So swadharma. What is swadharma? Swadharma, dharma has many meanings, but what is the true meaning of dharma? We'll talk in this shloka. So your dharma, what is my true dharma? What is my duty? Api, cha, and also looking at aveksha means having seen what is my dharma, what is my duty, even knowing that na vikampitum arhasi, you should not deviate from your duty. Your duty here, we'll talk about what is his duty. So he says you should not. Vikampita means you should not waver, you should not shake from your duty. Why? Dharmyat. Dharmyat means from dharma. He means indeed. Dharmyadi means dharmyat he yuddhat. So Dharma Yuddha. So what you are involved is a Dharma Yuddha, of battle for Dharma, for preserving Dharma. Shreya. So better than a Dharma Yuddha, Anyat, better than a Dharma Yuddha, Anyat Kshatriyasya na vidyate. Of a Kshatriya is there is no other better duty than to fight for Dharma. There is nothing better for a Kshatriya to do than to fight for Dharma. And so looking at that also, you should not deviate. So as we said, Kshatriya, as we have said many times before, is not a caste. It's not by birth. It does not mean a Kshatriya son is a Kshatriya or a Brahmin son is a Brahmin. In the original days, it was best based on Guna Karma Vibhaga Yoho. Bhagavan Sri Krishna says this Chatur Varnyam, these four castes are based on Guna and Karma, qualities and activities. So a person may be born in a, say, Brahmin family, but then he opens a temple, but his whole motive is how much money can I make from this temple or how much power I can get. Oh, I have only 50 people. The next church has temple has 100. I should cross him. So if his goal is to make money from that religious organization, then he becomes a Vaishya. Then he's a businessman. He's no longer a Brahmin. Or if his goal is more power, more people coming, I should become more famous, then he's a Kshatriya. He's no longer a Brahmin. On the other hand, a person may be born in a low family, even like Kabir Das ji. He was a weaver. He was in the lowest category as far as a worker he was. But he became such a great sadhu, such a great Mahatma, such a great teacher. So no matter where he was born, he was indeed a Brahman. You cannot call him a Kshatriya, Vaishya, or even a Shudra. He was so evolved. So that's what all these great Mahatmas teach us, that it's not where you are born, but how you live your life that determines. And every society has these four castes: the teachers, the gurus, the teachers, the priests. But those are the Brahmins. Kshatriyas are the warriors, the administrators, the soldiers, the policemen. And Vaishyas are the business people, the farmers and the business people. And the fourth is workers. And they are all equally important. You need office workers, you need factory workers. Without that, the economy won't work. So to think that one caste is superior to another was because some people wanted to enforce their power. But in reality, all four are equally important. That's why in Purush Suktam, it is said that all of them came from that one Purusha. So Kshatriya here means one who is a soldier, who is a warrior, an administrator. And for him, what is Shreyas, what is best for him is to fight for right. When something wrong is happening, a Kshatriya's duty is to protect the good people when the evil people are. So when the enemy attacks, then, the Kshatriya has to protect as a warrior. But even in society, like a king or an administrator or a policeman, when some injustice is happening, it is the duty of that Kshatriya to do what is right. And they have a word dharma, and people misunderstand what is the true meaning of dharma. Dharma we think of as religion, Hindu dharma, Islam dharma, Parsi dharma, we think of dharma. But in Bhagavad Gita, nowhere Bhagavan Sri Krishna says what is the meaning of dharma. The true meaning of dharma is Yad dharyate iti dharma. Dharyate means that which supports society. Whole society works because people follow their dharma. If everybody stopped following their dharma, there would be chaos. Like a person is qualified to be say a worker, but he decides that I'm going to, when he's not even qualified, he wants to become the politician, the leader, then such a person will not do well. Or a person who is good in business or finance, he decides to become a spiritual teacher, then his whole motive will be business. So do what is right and do what is your duty. That is dharma. So what is my dharma? Like a student's dharma is to study, a householder's dharma is to take care of the family. As we go to vanaprastha, then slowly withdraw from. So our dharma changes based on our age, based on where we are in society. So then there is a Samanya Dharma and Vishesha Dharma. Samanya Dharma is what we have to do normally. So in a family, there's husband, wife, and two children. Now, husband has his duties, wife has her duties, children have. But say husband goes for 1 month, he's gone for, for work. So he's posted in some other state. Now the wife has, that's her Samanya Dharma, but now she has to do Vishesh Dharma. She has to do mother's role and father's role. She has to take care of the house, but worry about the finance and the income and, driving the children. So that is called Vishesha Dharma. Or, for example, there is a army official. Now, in peaceful time, he just stays in his barracks and they are constantly training. But suppose the enemy attacks, then there is Vishesh Dharma. Okay, that is my duty. And we find that if there is any injustice happening, then it is the duty of the Kshatriyas to take care of the injustice, because ordinary people may not be able to. So, for example, if I have some, scary thing happening or something fearful, or I hear something or somebody is coming, I don't have a gun, I cannot fight, but I dial 911. And then the police comes. Now, if the police says, we are peaceful, it's not going to. Their job is to stop this person, whether a thief or a criminal. So duty of a householder is different from a duty of a policeman, is different from a duty of a businessman. He's different from a religious leader. So that's what they are saying, that what you are trained for, Arjuna, from childhood, you were born in a Kshatriya family. Okay, then you have the qualities of a Kshatriya. You Arjuna always wanted to fight against injustice, where anything wrong was happening, and he would pick up. And then you were from childhood trained how to shoot bow and arrow. Dronacharya and Kripacharya and all these acharyas taught you. And then you have spent years in practicing, because as we know, the Kauravas had stolen their kingdom, cheated them in dice. Even before that, in childhood, when they were younger, tried to kill them twice, tried to kill the Pandavas, cheated them of their kingdom, molested their wife. Draupadi was molested. So all the wrong things the Kauravas have done to you, and then took away your kingdom. And then you were sent for 13 years, in the 12 years in the forest, 1 year in exile. You did all that. And then they said, we will give you your kingdom back after 13 years. That was one of the conditions of gambling. See, Dhritarashtra got into gambling, and a lot of problems. Not Dhritarashtra, Yudhishthir got into gambling with Shakuni, and that's where all the problems arose. So after 13 years, you have come back, and in those 13 years, Arjuna was constantly shooting. Even at night, he would try to shoot in the dark at certain branch of the tree. And even he would practice shooting with sound, and constantly he did so much tapas to get all the weapons from Lord Shiva, the Gandiva bow and all. So from childhood, you have been trained to do this, and that you have practiced, and you from childhood had this inclination. Now, when the country needs you, because if the Kauravas keep on ruling the kingdom will go downhill, just as we find even nowadays. If the president or prime minister is corrupt, the whole kingdom, whole country becomes corrupt. So here you have an opportunity to fix injustice and do your duty. And now suddenly you are saying, I want to go to the forest to meditate. you don't have the mental abilities as yet to meditate. If you sit for meditation, you will be all angry, that Duryodhan stole my kingdom, I should have killed him. Or that Karna, he always. So all this anger you still have in you, but suddenly you have this temporary vairagya, this temporary dispassion. Oh, we should not fight. The thing is, even if you go away to the forest, the other Pandavas and Kauravas will fight. So the war will happen, but you will lose your opportunity to do what is right, to practice your dharma. Because when somebody is honest, cheating, so not, see, killing a person who doesn't deserve to be killed is a dharma. Like somebody is good and you kill him. But not killing a person who deserves to be killed is also a dharma. Killing a honest, innocent, like for a judge, if there is an innocent person and he gives him 10 years prison, that is adharma. But another person who deserves to go to prison and the judge takes some money or bribe and does not send him to prison, that is equal adharma. So punishing an innocent person is adharma. Not punishing a guilty person is adharma. Mahabharata says that in one place. So it is like, person. So you have an opportunity and now you want to sit and go in the forest and sit down and meditate. No. For example, somebody is trained in FBI, right? He's trained as an FBI agent, given all the instructions. And he's a young man. He studies for 5 years in the academy, and he comes out and he's fully trained in all the skills of how to catch the dishonest people, and then suddenly now he says, where am I going to be posted? So they say, you know what, go to some small town in Omaha, in Oklahoma, in some small town in Oklahoma. Yeah, there is no crime over there. There's only 5,000 people. I am a fully trained FBI agent. Well, what am I going to do there? If you want me to put me in LA or New York where there is crime and where then I can use my talents, or an army person who is trained great warrior, and after he comes out of this academy, NDA in India or West Point in the US, then you say, where am I going to post you? You go and do a desk job, in some small branch. No, 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 no. I'm trained to fight. Put me where the front line, where the so so same way, you have been trained and now you want to go sit in the forest and meditate and give up your arms and then go around begging. He says it is better to beg than to fight. So you are not doing what you are trained for, and that's what the Kauravas, unfortunately, that's what the only thing that will fix them. So even looking at your dharma, there is no better thing for a kshatriya than to have a dharma yuddha, to fight for dharma. Yeah, to fight for adharma is wrong, which the Kauravas, and the Kauravas were the ones who picked the battle. They are the ones who stole your kingdom. They are the ones who tried to kill you, molest your wife. They did all the wrong things. And now you are saying, I just forgive them. You cannot, because otherwise they will keep on doing. So he says, for a kshatriya, there is no better duty of dharma than to fight for the right cause, for the noble cause. And here you have an opportunity. Now, again, Bhagwan in 32 will emphasize this point and give him some more points to think about. So, number 32, Yadrichaya chopapannam Svargadvaramapavritam Sukhina kshatriya partha labhante yuddhamidrisham. So he says, now you have a great opportunity that has come to you. unasked. Yadrichaya means you didn't ask for it, but it has come. Cha upapanna means has come, this opportunity. And what will it do? Swarga dwaram apavritam. So this opportunity where Swarga dwara, the door of heaven is open for you. And such an opportunity, Shukhina Kshatriya, oh, this opportunity which makes Kshatriyas happy, O Partha, O Arjuna, who is Pritha's son. Pritha was Mother Kunti's name. So he says, for a Kshatriya, O Arjuna, this kind of opportunity, labhante, yuddham idrisham. So this kind of war, this kind of opportunity to fight, which has come to you unasked. You didn't ask for it. You didn't go and say, tell the Kauravas, I'm going to fight with you or kill you. They are the ones who did everything, including, start the war. And even you tried everything. See, the Pandavas tried everything to make peace. Even they sent Bhagwan Sri Krishna, and they told that go tell Duryodhan that even if you give us 5 villages, we don't want our whole kingdom back. Just give 5 villages, one for each brother, and we'll be fine. We won't fight. And Duryodhan, what did he say? I'm not even going to give you land which is on the tip of a needle. He says, if you're a Kshatriya, fight for it. You don't come and beg for 5 villages. You want your kingdom, fight. So he's the one who picked the battle. You were ready to do everything for peace, but so this opportunity which has come unasked and which will take you to heaven. So we said it is unasked. You didn't ask for it. And why heaven? Because they say that if you give up your life in performing your duty and perform it in the right way, without any selfish motive, without I or my, then you go to heaven. So any activity, if we do our duty and do what is right and help others and be kind, but if you do it with a desire for heaven, that, okay, by doing this karma, by doing this ritual, I'll go to heaven, or by helping this person, then you will go to heaven. But that is still a desire. To go to heaven is still a desire. But if you do that duty, I don't care what I get, and we'll talk about that, then that duty becomes pure. Then that duty becomes pure, becomes the right thing to do, where even the desire for heaven is not there. But even if you have a desire for heaven, for a Kshatriya, this is the best opportunity. A person dying in the battlefield on the path of Dharma, even if he dies, definitely he will go to heaven. And that is what everybody wants. But then some people are sleeping. Sleeping means an opportunity has come and they lose the opportunity. Oh, I forgot, or I didn't do it, or I should have done it. Sleeping means you become unmindful. You become careless of your duty. Opportunity comes, you don't do it. Sleeping reminds me of a beautiful parable from Bible. So there was this lady who somehow got a message that the Lord, the Savior, will come for you, but will come at night, and you stay awake, stay awake for that. So she said, oh, definitely I'll stay awake. And how he will come was not told. But he says, yeah, he will come. So it's like Bhagwan, or, somebody, or same Mahatma will come. So she's sitting, and then 11, 12, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. By that time, she's tired, She's little dozing off, and she said, "Ab to raat ho gayi, 2 o'clock. I don't think he will come tonight. Maybe he will come tomorrow." So 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, she dozes off and goes to sleep. And in the morning, when she wakes up, her neighbor, the lady, she says, "Who came to your house last night, early this morning at 3, 4 o'clock?" She says, "No, nobody came." She says, "No, I heard a camel and I heard the sound of bells, and somebody came and was waiting outside your door. He waited for quite a while, and then I heard the sound of bells going away, and she started crying. She said, "Oh my God, my Lord, my master had come to see me, and I was sleeping." So that's what happens, that we have an opportunity to do well, to grow, to succeed, but we become careless. Sleeping means careless, heedless. I didn't pay attention to what is my duty. And so that's what you are doing, that even though you have an opportunity, you are letting this opportunity go. So that's what they're saying, that one should always be alert, especially on the spiritual path. One should always be alert, because God's grace will fall on us at any time. So always be alert and always be thankful to Bhagwan for giving me this opportunity to study this knowledge. And this knowledge should be studied daily. So what they mean, do not be careless, means every day I should study Bhagavad Gita. I should read, we have commentary by Swami Chinmayananda. It's available in the office. You can buy that. Also, our talks are on firstpower.info. The website is called firstpower, one word, .info. So you can hear these talks again, all the 18 chapters, they are all there. So daily study of Bhagavad Gita, Shankaracharya ji says Bhagavad Gita should be studied daily, even one verse or two verses if you study every day. If you study two verses of Bhagavad Gita every day from Swami Chinmayananda's commentary, in 1 year, you can study the entire 18 chapters. So they say, do not become neglectful of your duty. What is your duty? It must be done. And they say that any good karmas you do, or even bad karmas, there is the drishta phalam and adrishta phalam. So say I do a lot of good things, I help people. And then what happens? The drishta phalam is that people come and praise me, and then they honor me, give me a plaque or give me a certificate, or maybe I stand for election, and if I have done a lot of good things, I become elected, I become member of parliament or the senator, or I become assembly or mayor or something. So that is drishta phalam, that you did something good and you were honored, or people came and gave, or the king gave you a reward, or the president gave you a big reward, so that is called drishta phalam. Then there is adrishta phalam. Adrishta phalam is where I went and served, but nobody even knew about it. I didn't get any honor. Did you get any honor? No. Did anybody recognize you? No. Did you get praise? No. But I still did it. Not for honor, not for praise, but I did it so I'll go to heaven. So that is adrishta phalam, but that is still a desire. I'm doing these good deeds, so I go to heaven. So that is second level, where I don't have any desire for worldly success, fame, but heaven, I should go to heaven. At least Bhagwan is watching. So that is second. The third level is that even heaven, I don't have no interest. I am doing good because it is to be done. It is the right thing and the society needs it, and I'll do it. Whether I get any heaven or not, whether I get praise or not, whether I get honored or not, whether somebody recognizes or not, I am doing it because it is to be done. That's it. And so that is the highest, where you are not doing for name or fame, you are not doing for wealth, you are not doing for honor, you are doing it to purify your mind, because the mind, which is full of negativities, as we do more activities without I and my, dedicated to the Lord unselfishly, that is called karma yoga, without even expecting any result. And whatever result comes, I dedicate it to Bhagwan. You say, Bhagwan, it is your, because of you I got it, and it is your success, not my success. So that kind of activity, when a person does without expecting anything, that is true service. That is true karma yoga. So that's what he's saying, that at this moment, you have this opportunity to do good for society. Do not sleep. Do not be neglectful. Do not give up this opportunity. So this is number 32. And again, he will just, in the 33, he will emphasize, but he will bring up a new word called sin, papam. That is in number 33. Atha chetvamimam dharmyam sangramam na karishyasi tata swadharmam kirtim cha hitva papam avapsyasi. Together, atha chetvamimam dharmyam sangramam na karishyasi tata swadharmam kirtim cha hitva papam avapsyasi. So atha chet means in case, atha chet, in case, imam dharmyam sangramam. Imam means imam this. Dharmyam sangramam. Sangramam means battle, which is for dharma. So, dharma yuddha, what he had said in the previous shloka, na karishyasi. Karishyasi is future tense. So, if you will not do what you should do, if you do not fight in this battle for dharma, then what will happen? Tata swadharmam kirtim cha. Swadharma means you will, your own duty and kirti, name and fame, hitva, giving up. So what will happen? You will lose your name and fame, you will fall away from your dharma, and papam avapsyasi, and you will commit sin. See, what Arjuna was thinking, that by fighting this battle, I will commit sin. Oh, I will fight against my grandfather, my guru, and there will be so much, my cousins, and so much death and destruction. But Bhagavan says that, yes, they are your guru, they are your grandfather, they are your cousins, but they are on the wrong side. Even Drona and Bhishma, even though they were very noble souls, but they had taken the side of the Kauravas. And they had no problem fighting for Duryodhana, because they had stayed in Duryodhana's palace, uska namak khaya tha. So they had no problem to fight even on the wrong side. Why? Because that is, they thought, as their duty. So if they are not ready to give up their duty, even fighting for evil, then how are you giving up your duty fighting for good? You should learn from them. So sin is not doing your duty is sin. So what Gurudev in his commentary and other place says, sin is not in the action, it is in the reaction. So when you do some action, if it leaves a good feeling in your mind, I did the right thing, then that is merit. But if it leaves a guilty feeling or a bad feeling, I shouldn't have done it, even though nobody comes to know, but if I do something wrong, at least my conscience will tell me, this was not right thing to do. So if that action leaves a bad feeling in my heart, in my mind, then that is sin. So merit is, and then again, what was the motive, in doing this? So here your motive is not to just randomly kill, but to protect the country. So sin is not in the action, it is in the reaction. The same action, like a surgeon taking a knife and cutting somebody's belly, is merit, because he or she is operating to save that life. But if another person, to rob somebody, takes a knife and cuts somebody's stomach and kills him and takes his money, then that same activity, knife and cutting, can become sin, papa, or punya. So that's what they're saying. And what also is sin? Vasanas. See, if we have our wrong tendencies, by doing wrong actions from childhood, if we do, or from youth, or whenever, if you keep doing wrong actions, that will create wrong vasanas, and that will strengthen. So they say wrong actions will make wrong habits make wrong vasanas, and then because of vasanas, you will get papa, and you will get all the, the bad karmas happening, and then not only in this life, but next life also, you will suffer. So he says that what is your vasana? What is your tendency? What is your nature? What were you born with? So he says, like a child, his tendency is he loves art, music and art, and, those kind of things. And the parents say, art and music is not going to make any money. You go become a businessman, or go become, put him in some profession where he is not trained. He's not ready. You may force him, send him to college, and even he may become an MBA and get a job, in some company, but he will be always miserable. I wish I had studied music. That's what my real joy is, And so he won't be happy, because you have to see what is that makes a child happy and train them according to that. And not only happy, but what they are good at. Like you two children, if you take them to the toy store and one buys a hammer, other buy three children, other one buys a gun, and third one picks up a stethoscope or medical kit. So you get some idea that this person is, good, likes to work with his hands. He likes a hammer. Other one is a gun. Maybe we should put him in law enforcement, or not. I mean, not encourage him to shoot, but the idea is that teach him, and see what he is good at. And somebody who picks up a stethoscope or picks up a paintbrush, and then accordingly you see what are their tendencies. So parents observe. So same way, for spirituality also, you should have the inclination. What happens sometimes is that some young person, his girlfriend leaves him, and says, I don't want to see you anymore, and he's crying and he's miserable, and he says, ये दुनिया अगर मिल भी जाए तो क्या है, he starts singing those sad songs. And then he says it's not worth living in this world, and also he says, I'm going to take sannyas, that way I don't have anything to do with girls, anything to do. So he puts on orange clothes and becomes a sadhu, but he still has the strong desire to have contact with the opposite sex. That has not gone. Temporarily he got some vairagya because this girl left him, but inside he still wants. So then, even though wearing orange clothes or becoming a priest, in a church, if his vasanas have not been conquered, then he will do the wrong thing. And we find that in all the religious institutions, the majority of priests and nuns and sadhus are good, but then occasionally a person who has got in with the wrong tendencies. So here also he says, you are your tendency is a warrior, and you are trying to go and meditate. It's not going to happen. And what our true goal of life is to discover divinity within. And that's what Bhagavan is saying. So by doing the right action, your vasanas will be reduced. See, the vasanas will be reduced when you do right karmas, when you work unselfishly. And the more you reduce your vasanas, your selfish tendencies, the closer you come to God. So if you want to reach God, you have to purify your mind, purify your life, do good actions dedicated to God, do some regular puja every day, do some service, get the right knowledge. So with the body, you serve the world, you serve world as God's servant. With the mind, you love God. And with the intellect, you learn about God. So when all your activities are devoted to God, I'm serving God, I'm loving God, I'm knowing God, I am singing bhajans for God, or listening to bhajans, then slowly your vasanas will reduce and you will come closer to God. And then you will discover that God is not far away sitting in Vaikuntha or Kailash or in the church or temple. God is in my heart as life. And so the more you do that, the more your life becomes divine, the more your life becomes holy. So that's what they say, that that's what will happen. But if you don't do it, then you will get a bad name. You will get infamy. You won't become famous. You will become infamous. Are wo Arjuna, he was a great warrior until when? Until the war started. Then he ran away, and he will talk about that in the next shloka also next week. So the point is that you think you will get good name and fame, you will get bad name and fame, that you were a coward and you were useless and all those. And that's what we see, that the Bhagavad Gita is meant for all individuals, no matter which level. You may be the greatest scholar, you may be an administrator, you may be a business person, you may be a professional, doctor, engineer, lawyer, or you may be a worker, or you may be a housewife, or you may be working at home, or working in a factory, or working in, no matter what station in life we are. You may be a child, you may be a middle age, you may be youth, you may be senior, but Bhagavad Gita has something for everyone. And anytime there is any doubt in life as to what I should or should not do, Bhagavad Gita has the answer. So that's why they say regularly study Bhagavad Gita, because these other texts like Upanishads and all also are very good, but for that you need to have done some, study, you have to have some background. But for Bhagavad Gita, it is so simple. The same highest knowledge of the Upanishads, Bhagavan Sri Krishna has brought it down so it can apply to anybody at any part of life, man, woman, young, old, everybody, Indian, American, no matter which part of the world they are from. And that's why Bhagavad Gita is being studied all over, everywhere in all the major universities and everywhere, because people are realizing the value of this. So we should be blessed that Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda has given us the commentary and given us this opportunity to start this mission where together we can study Bhagavad Gita. So we'll end here today. Basically, Bhagwan says that you have to do your dharma, do what is right, and do not let wrong ideas influence you, and do what is your true nature, what is your true tendencies, work according to that. Do not do something like later on when Pandavas, after having won the battle and then ruled the kingdom for many years, then later on they did take sannyas, later on, and Bhagavan said that is fine. Once you have done your, then they made Parikshit, the Raja Parikshit, and then Arjuna's son, Abhimanyu's son, and then they, they went to sannyas. So same way, that's what they say, that at this stage of life, you are not fit for sannyas. So here we'll end, and Bhagavan says, true glory will come to you if you do your duty. So we'll end here. If anybody has any questions or comments, we have about 10 minutes. Please feel free, either in person or on Zoom. Either way, we have quite a few people on Zoom also. So you are welcome to in person or on Zoom. Anybody has any questions, comments? You can unmute yourself. You have unmuted. And everyone, please participate. Anybody question? It can take me.
Repeat the 18 chapters on first power dot.
Info, yes. Firstpower.info. Can you write that? Or I can send you the link. Or just type in your phone, first power is one word, .info. You will get it. I can even send you do I have your phone number?
Yes.
Okay, I'll look it up.
Thank you.
Yeah, but you should just click firstpower.info. Or even first power, you can put as two words, firstpower.info. And it has all the 18 chapters, and verse by verse. You can pick up any chapter and any verse, like now today's talk, it will say chapter 2, shlokas 30 to 33. So you can listen to any of those. And this is actually the second or third time I have done it. So it is all there in that. Were you able to find it? First power
I'm
doubting.
getting there.
First power. Yeah. You can enter as 2 words or 1 word. Yes, Carrie.
I was wondering if, you see a person who is very sattvic or very tamasic, humans, I mean, we have such a developed mind or intellect,
Yes.
far more so than say, a hive of bees that, if their hive is attacked, they're all going to go out, maybe everybody but the queen. But say say there is a war that is dharmic, is it absolutely then everyone's dharma to fight in that war? Whether you're tamasic, whether you're kshatriya, or whether you're a sattvic priest.
No, it is not everyone's duty to fight. We see that's why we have an army. We have an army, we have a police, then we have National Guard, we have some people who have signed up as reserves. So they have to fight the war, they have to fight the battle. A person, otherwise the economy will not work. If everybody becomes a soldier, then how will the country's economy? If there are business people, there are workers, janitors, garbage people, if they all go and start fighting the war, who's going to pick up the garbage? The country will become dirty. So, and then there are some teachers, who will. So society has to continue, but if there is a war situation, then the soldiers maybe the reserves or the National Guard, it is their duty, who are trained to fight the war. I think generally that's what happens.
But yet, if you're in a situation where if you can act, you could in a smaller scale than say a war, just say a small war where something's bad on your block,
Right.
is it your duty to stop it if you're there?
Absolutely. Yes. If you can stop it, you stop it. But if there's a guy carrying a gun and threatening the whole neighborhood and you don't have a gun, then obviously it's not your duty. You then dial 911 and call the right people. Yes. So if you have an ability to stop something bad happening, we must do it. But again, one has to know one's abilities and one's training and one's qualification. So
And
yeah.
indeed, in America, we all have guns.
Yeah, in America, everybody is a soldier. Yes. Unfortunately, yes.
Like to just, I want to piggyback on that. First of all, it does work. Thank you for that.
Good.
The other thing is that what if that situation keeps happening? Yes, it's our duty to be justful. However, what do we do in that case? It continues to happen.
Which situation? You mean somebody is doing wrong? Yeah, if somebody is doing wrong, then it is our duty to try and stop it. One is I stop it myself. I talk to that person, I correct it. But if that person is too powerful and I'm not able to do it myself, then I get the help of others, to stop it. Like even in an office, say your boss is very, horrible and very difficult. You can either talk to that person, or if you can't talk to that person, you can say, well, I'm no longer going to work in this office. Or third is that appeal to somebody higher. Or fourth is, even if that doesn't work, you just accept it. So there are 3-4 things one can do when something bad is happening. You have to use your intellect to see what is appropriate in this situation. Yeah. Anybody else? I'm sorry, can you speak a little loud?
Sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't know this. When I'm looking at the word sin, when you don't do the right thing, that's also a sin.
Yes,
In the place when you know that something wrong is being done. So, I mean, you are nurturing it to happen, knowing that it's bad.
right,
And you're creating an act of sin. So you don't want to sin, but even if you don't want to get the good karma, but you don't want to get a bad karma. And so it's your duty. So it's not, I wouldn't even say it's duty is a strong word, that whether you're committed, you have to commit yourself to that. But at least you can try and appease the person who's committing this thing and say, okay, don't do this, this is hurting that other person or whatever.
right,
And that can be done, so it's like not duty bound, it's not my duty, I'm just there, I'm an observer, but should I be intervening? Yes, in my capacity, if I can, without hurting the person who's being punished or being, the other person is being harsh, you can try and mediate if possible. And if it's not possible, like you say, you seek for help, who will be able to like that situation.
right, right. Yeah, so she's talking about sin, that what is my duty, where I can help somebody, I should help. If I can stop some wrong thing happening, I should stop without trying to hurt too many people. And if not, then ask for help. So she just talked a little more about sin and about what we just discussed today. Yes,
Maybe it'll come in further chapters, but as far as acceptance, certain things in my personal life, I have a hard time accepting. And it's such a powerful word. I mean, once you've mastered it, it's golden. But how does one get there?
yeah, I think Eckhart Tolle says that beautifully in his book, Power of Now. He says, as I said, that if you have a boss whom you don't like, one is you talk to him and try to change it. Second is you again talk to some other authority to change it. But if you said, oh, if I do that, I'll get fired. And the third option is you quit the job. Okay, I'll get a better job in some other, but then there you may get a worse boss. But if you can't change the situation, if you can't walk away from the situation, then the spiritual thing to do is accept it 100% without complaint. See, one is you accept, oh, why do I have to work? I hate that person. I hate this. I hate my work. Then every morning you will be miserable. Every Monday morning you will be miserable. So you say, yes, my situation is not good at this moment and I cannot change it. I cannot leave the job because I won't find another job my family needs. Then you say, okay, this is my prarabdha. This is the situation and I'll do whatever I can to the best of my ability. So one is accept with complaining. One is accept without complaining. And that is final acceptance where for a bhakta, for a devotee, it should say, Bhagwan is doing it. Whatever is happening and it's happening for my good. Even though the situation looks bad, there is some goodness happening that I'm supposed to grow from this situation. So even though the situation is bad, but it is teaching me how to grow out of my limited thinking. So looking at every situation as an opportunity to improve and grow is true acceptance, where you don't complain and say, "Theek hai, it's meant to happen, I'll just do it." Then what will happen is you'll become stronger inside, you'll become calmer. But if you keep on complaining, then you'll be miserable. Oh, why do I have, why do I? But you say, no, it is happening. It is for my good. And actually, there is Swami Aparajita Nandaji who came last year and he's coming again in August. You should listen to him. He has so much acceptance. He says, Jo bhi ho raha hai, acha ho raha hai. Things are working, it is good. Things are not working, it is good. You find that he says there is nothing to complain. And very evolved. It was a pleasure for us to meet him. So he'll be here in August. So take advantage of that opportunity. We'll also have his talks on Zoom from August 17 onward for 4 or 5 days. And so all these Mahatma, Swami Ishwarananda ji will be here in July. So when you sit with these Mahatmas, you realize how beautiful is their attitude towards life and to even difficulties in life. So that is what acceptance is. So we'll end here. Just very quickly, Hansa, if you can.
It just, if it is personal, say my boss is upset with me alone in a group of people who are working in the office. It's okay to tolerate and say, okay, I have to learn lesson from it. But if it's all 10 people are harassed by him, there has to be voice raised
Right,
because there's something wrong with the boss then. So it really depends. If it's a personal, you can accept as a one of the lesson and learn from it.
right.
But if it is common for all the other workers,
Absolutely.
then there's something wrong with the boss. And I think I would raise the voice together.
Right, right. Together, yeah. But if you go alone, you'll get fired. Then again, you'll lose your job. If you can
No,
get
you know,
people.
if there's a whole, if
Right.
collectively it works
Yes,
better.
yes, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We'll end here. Those of you who are wishing to listen, just go on firstpower.info and keep listening to previous shlokas, or you can go ahead. Because all the 18 chapters are there and the same way, the same format. We have been doing this for more than 10 years now, almost 20 years. These classes have been going on. So please listen on First Power in the summer. Keep your sadhana. And those of you who are attending Upanishad class, that will continue till end of June. We'll have 2 months of that on Tuesdays.
In July lecture, and
August 19th is Monday.
So August 19th or then August 18 hoga, jo bhi hai Sunday.
Okay.
so he's coming in July.
Yeah, Swami Ishwarananda ji will be here July 15 to 19. We have the summer camp in the daytime. In the evening, he will do Shweta Ashvatara Upanishad. And then Swami Aparajita Nanda ji will come August 17 onward. So July, we have one Swamiji coming for a week, and in August, two second Swamiji. So Ishwarananda ji and Aparajita. So you, even in the summer, you'll have opportunity to listen to Mahatmas. And of course, their teaching is much, very superior. So it will be a pleasure to hear them. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Guru Bhyo Namah. Harihi Om. Thank you.